Hey friends, it's Sonia Miller here from Jug Monkey Paint Company. Thank you and welcome back to my channel here. So I have to tell you, I'm hanging out with Kate. You might hear Kate packing and shipping because I say to people, the packing and shipping noises that you hear in the background when you watch these vlogs, this is like the heartbeat, okay, of the Jug Monkey. So Kate's over there. Say hello, Kate.
Hello.
Packing and shipping, and so I was working on my vlogs this week. You guys know we upload every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I was talking out loud to Kate about ideas for vlogs, and she gave me a great idea. She knows that I'm a bookworm, I'm a book nerd. I love me some books, okay? And if you follow my vlog on here, in fact, I take you to the bookstore with me. And so she reminded me that today, in my life, every day is National Gotta Love a Book Day. But today actually is Book Lovers Day. Is that how you said it? National Book Lovers Day, right, Kate? So she's like, why don't you tell your viewers what you're reading? And I thought, that's brilliant, right? That's a great idea. So I love here in my vlog to be able to take you behind the scenes, put you in my brain, as scary as that might be some days, you know, show you how to DIY, give you great inspiration. And I believe that inspiration comes in different forms. And am I right? And I also believe that, you know, what you fuel your body with and what you fuel your mind with basically helps you just get through life better. So if you're reading motivational things and positive things, I believe that that has an impact every day in your life. And so versus fueling my mind, because I've always told you guys on here that I am a girl whose glass is half full, okay? So I believe that yes, we have bad days, we have bad times, bad things can happen to us in life, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that we have a bad life overall, right? Because I think the fact that we're here every day is a pretty amazing thing. And so I wanted to share with you a book that I'm reading this month. In fact, I'm rereading it, and I'm going to share it with you because this is a book that I'm reading as well. I also suggested inside my Coach and Create Club. You guys know that I have a club on the side where I meet every week, multiple times a week, in a private Facebook group with right now 150 ladies who are just, now they want to take it from hobby to business. You guys know, if you follow me on here, I was a corporate girl, did the corporate grind my entire life, and now I get to do what I love for a living, which is paint and inspiring other people to be able to do it as well. And so this month I also suggested this book in there, ironically. And so this is the one that I'm reading and I love. And if you are following me and you're a DIY fan, you will maybe even recognize the couple on this cover. It is Chip and Joanna Gaines, right, of Magnolia. And so this is a book. Listen, okay, here's a quick, here's a kick in the butt for you. This book is a kick in the butt for you. Here's a quick poll for you guys. I want to know, who would rather read a book on like a Kindle or some sort of electronic device, or who would rather hold the actual physical book? I gotta tell you, I would rather hold the physical book, but I bought this book online through like Amazon, downloaded it to my iPad, and now I watch it on the Kindle app. 2 years ago when it came out in 2016, and because I was in bed that night, it came out, and I could not wait to get myself into a physical bookstore, so I went ahead and I downloaded it, and I read it, the entire thing, 2 years ago that night. Okay, that's how good it was. It captured my interest. And so I want to recommend to you guys to read the Magnolia story, okay? And it's basically, it talks about the beginnings of Magnolia, which, you know what, it made me kind of like even think about that word Magnolia. If you follow Chip and Joanna Gaines, they're like the queen and king of DIY on HGTV. And, you know, it really kind of helped me understand their story. You guys know recently I did a vlog here. I took you guys to Texas with me. We stopped by the humble beginnings of Magnolia. And I learned in that book that Magnolia actually starts off as a very, very tiny seed. And so Joanna, in the book, Joanna Gaines, talks about how it's kind of like their story, right? It started off a little seed, a little idea. It was just a really small, tiny place, a business idea. And from there, it just completely bloomed. And when Magnolia blooms, it's a big, beautiful flower, but it comes from a small seed. And so that's why I'm recommending to you guys that you also pick up the Magnolia. I'm gonna hand this iPad back to Kate so she can keep on doing what she's doing over there with it, but I had to borrow it from her. So this week I challenged my friends in my Coach and Create group, my business creative friends, to read the first 3 chapters, okay? So I think there's like 15 or 16 chapters to the entire book, which is nice and manageable. So if you're reading even like 4 chapters a week, roughly on average, you will get through the entire book, right? And there's 7 days in a week. And I promise you, once you start, you won't be able to like put it down. It is so good. It's definitely on my top recommended book list. And I'll continue on my blog here to share with you guys my favorite books of all time. And it's not just business related, it's just seeing somebody else who was average folk, everyday people, and also seeing the challenges that they overcame to be able to be what they are now, which I think is pretty amazing, right? And I've always said to you guys on here, one thing that my dad has always taught me is that, you know, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. And so sometimes you might think that you look at people and somehow they're extra special, they have superhuman skill set to get where they are right now. They are just, we are all the same, right? But just some people, you know, they work on a skill set, they keep doing it consistently, and before you know it, they have basically, you know, they've created a niche for themselves. And so just like me with painting, I had to start somewhere. But here are some of my takeaways from this book, okay? From the first few chapters that I read this week that I wanted to share with you guys. So whether you read the book or not, I'm gonna give you some things to think about just in life in general. And if you wanna go pick up the book, go pick up the book, okay? In fact, I'll link my book link below so you know exactly, and you can find it on Amazon and have it sent to you, okay? But I thought it was really cool how, if you know the Gaines family and where they are right now and their rise to fame, I thought it was really cool that it really had small beginnings in the sense that, you know, Joanna Gaines did what she did with Chip over in Waco, Texas before the cameras ever came on. It's like I say to you guys, you know, whether the cameras are on or not, whether you're watching me here, you're watching me on Facebook Live, this is what I would normally do and have been doing for the last 10 years of my life, right? Flipping furniture and just enjoying the power of paint. And so it's fun to be able to share it with you guys on here. But it talks about how in the very beginning, how she took the time to take her work and upload it to another bigger platform, and her friend actually did that for her, and then she got discovered. And so it kind of like took me back to thinking about, you know, we want things to happen in life, but it also takes some action on our end, right? So no matter what your goal is in life, you just can't be sitting on the couch and just wishing for it to happen. So in the very humble beginnings of Magnolia and the Gaines and their rise to fame, it took a friend, Molly, who uploaded pictures to another bigger blog platform for them to be able to be discovered. Does that make sense? I also thought it was pretty cool when Joanna says in the book that she asked herself when the producers of HGTV said, you know, we want to give you guys a show, she said to herself, you know, why would anybody want to watch us? And I think a lot of times that we don't realize how special we are to other people, or just, you know, whether you have a business or not, that you actually have something to contribute to a conversation, to somebody else's life. Because while you might think you're pretty boring and, you know, you're just like not interesting at all to watch, you know, she feels the same way when she talked about her and Chip and they would have those conversations. And for a lot of you guys on here, you might have completely binged on Fixer Upper, right? And you find them so interesting and you love to be able to listen, to be able to watch them, and, you know, maybe gives you ideas. But if they thought that they should never have a show because they would be boring to other people, then Fixer Upper would have never existed, right? And all the other things that came with it, and they ended up going into doing all kinds of other things as part of their business as well, right? So a lot of times that we are our own worst critic, and we think that we really don't have anything to offer. And so you guys know the Gaines and the rise to fame and what they offer in terms of what they've done and how they've inspired and really been a part of other people's lives. But they too also wondered, why would people even watch us, right? So completely normal if you too have those feelings. And when you read the book, you also realize that, you know, this is what I take from this, that it also takes doing something over and over time and practicing to get better. So when you first read the book, in the very first chapter, you come to understand that Chip actually describes Joanna as being very dull on camera. And he was scared to death of the camera. He was hiding in the bathroom, and he says that, you know, when the red light came on the camera for when the producers were around their house and they're filming the very first episodes, the pilot episodes, to get a real good sense as to whether or not this would be the makings of a great show or not, they were scared to death. Like, they like clung to each other and were completely scared to death. And in fact, one of the producers says that, hey, basically guys, if you don't step up your game and do something here, I don't think we're gonna have a show here because it's just too boring. And so what I take from that is when you look at where they came from to where they are now, and you know that, you know, Chip is really a class clown when it comes to being on camera. And yes, Joanna still doesn't really say a whole lot, right? A lot of times he is the provoker that gets the reaction out of her, and so they play off each other, which is important. But if you look at a very first show to where they are now with, like, how many episodes did they do, how many seasons did they do, where they are now, you can see how they really came out of their shell. And so, you know, if you're somebody who, whether you're not just comfortable on camera right now, or whether you just have something going on with your life right now where maybe you want to learn how to paint, you know, we're not all just born with these superpowers. For a lot of us, we have to learn them, and it takes doing them over and over again to be able to get a comfort level, and like I say, then to be able to become an expert in that field of work. And so right now you would look at the king and queen of DIY on HGTV, of all they've done, and you go, wow, they're so good at what they do. But they too did it afraid. And so for a lot of us, taking the first steps, whether it's in our business or whether it's in our personal life for change or whatnot, something that puts us outside of the box, it all starts somewhere. So if you're starting off doing something afraid in your life, just know that other people are doing it as well. And on that note of magnolia seeds starting so small and blossoming, Joanna also talks about where that little shop that she started, which I think it was called the Little Shop on Bosque before it became Magnolia, and I think everything it is right now. But that very first storefront that she started, and if you want to see it, go watch the vlog on here where, and Matt so kindly took me to do it like a second drive-by, because I was like with my camera this way and we circled around and I'm like came back the other way with it, just seeing it, right? And now, even though it was all taped off, and I think they still make use of it in their business ceilings, it's still really cool to see that it really wasn't a giant building, and the neighborhood that it was in, you know, it was just, it could have been any neighborhood anywhere across this country or another country, right? It was nothing that made it special, but it was what they brought to it that made it super special, right? But she talks about when she first started her store, do you know how many visitors she saw per day? She had one employee and she saw 8 people per day. That is what she started off with, right? And so you just know that if you're starting a Facebook page, if you're starting your business, and you're just starting to become known for what it is that, you know, that you're really just starting to kind of like show to the world, that if you have 8 people frequenting your Facebook page or coming into your storefront or visiting your vendor booth or whatever it is that you do, that's pretty small beginnings, right? Now more than 8 people tune in every single day. But you have to start somewhere, and that's so important to know that, you know, even people that you admire that have big Facebook pages or that just go on to have big viewerships or become known and have tons of followers and fans and friends because of what they do, that you all have to start off, we all have to start off with one person, right? One person that we talk to, and from there the circle of friends just keep growing. So there you go. I also think it's pretty cool that Chip in the book, when he first had his date with Joanna, he was 90 minutes late, okay? She was like at this point like, who is this dude? Met him at my dad's, you know, repair station. He asked me out, he's coming to pick me up, and he's 90 minutes late, an hour and a half late. And she said that she didn't even want, she's like, you know, who is this dude? I didn't want to open the door and go out on the date with him at this point. And if it wasn't for her friends that also were in that apartment with her who said, we want to see what he looks like, open the door, she would have never opened the door, okay, and gone out on the date with Chip, and they would have never become the power couple and the power relationship that they have right now. But I think it's cool to see that, you know, when you look at other people and you're like, again, you know, they're so different. They got it together. They, you know, everything is perfect in their lives. And so to see, and Chip admits in the book that he is somebody that he's pretty much going to be 30 minutes late wherever he goes. That is just what he is. Call it the Hot Mess Express, do whatever you want. But basically, you know, if you're somebody as well who feels like you have to do everything perfect, you don't have to do everything perfect. You do have to keep showing up and doing it, absolutely. But it's okay to know that if you have, you know, call it a flaw, I don't know, but call it who you are, right? You're genuine, you're the real deal. And if you're just a few minutes late in life, that doesn't mean that you can't go on to do great things. You know what I'm saying? So he's also very real in the fact that just like any other human, hey, I don't know about you, but true story, growing up, I was always know my parents. In fact, when I vlog about my trip to Canada, I'm sure my mother will tell you if I bring this up, that I was always the person who liked to get it done the very last moment. I am not somebody that plans. Like today, I'm working on my vlog, right? That goes up this week. I typically do my vlogs the day of because I like to film in the moment, and I like to really be into what I'm doing and passionate about what I'm doing and get the drive when I do it. I'm not somebody who's going to have it done weeks and weeks in advance. So growing up, if I had a report to do and it was due the next day, I guarantee you at about 10 o'clock at night when my parents were going to sleep and mom was coming to check on me in her robe and knocking on the door and opening the door before she went to bed, she would find me just opening up my books to do a book report, and she'd say, we're going to bed. You should be in bed too. Why aren't you in bed? And I'd be like, I got to do a report. And I would stay up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm a night owl and, you know, definitely not a morning person. And I had to, like I say, peel myself out of bed in the morning like Laffy Taffy off the floor. But I would get it done. I would always get it done. but don't expect me to have it done weeks in advance, right? And so a lot of times, you know, whether you grow your business or you just look at who you are for who you are, a lot of times it's those the characteristics of who you are that make you who you are and how you actually will conduct life, right? And so I think it's a pretty darn thing if you have lots of ideas. So if you're somebody that has tons of ideas and you're overwhelmed with ideas, that's a positive, right? If you're somebody that puts it off to the last minute, but you know what, you always get it done, that's a positive as well. So we all conduct life different ways. So, you know, just be who you are and go about your day. It's okay. And as she listened to him talk, she really in her mind thought, you know, who is this guy? You know what I mean? He's talking about all these things. This is not, you know, I'm not that, you know, all over the map. But at the same time, she says it really interested her in him, and she kept listening, right? And so I just thought it was amazing to hear how he refers to himself as a serial entrepreneur, which is something that I believe it totally exists, because if you know that you want to have your own business, you know that you've had that fire in your belly for a long, long time. It's not something that goes away, right? Maybe you dream about having your own business, your own, you know, flexibility and freedom when it comes to your money, flexibility and freedom when it comes to your time, to be able to plan your future. Maybe you don't want to have a cap on how much you make or your ideas and what you get into today. There's so many freedoms that come when you are your own boss. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of responsibilities as well, but it's a different style of life, right? Some people, you know, and we need them as well. I don't know about you, but it's the spice of life. And we need people who work in offices and are happy to have that structure and come in from, you know, morning to evening and go home. And you know what, they compartmentalize, because we do carry a lot as a business person. You know, you're really not off of business, so there's ups and downs, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to decide what's best for you. But if you have that fire in your belly, it's not something that goes away, right? And so it's interesting to see that when Chip talks about being all over the map and trying different things and things that didn't go well and things that also, you know, worked out for him, that if you're somebody like that as well, you know, think about that. If you tried a million different things, and hey, if you need some help, get in my Coach and Create Club, right? Where I teach creatives to be able to take it from hobby to business and help you be able to create your focus. But that is totally normal if you feel like your brain and your life in terms of trying to start businesses has been like tabs. You're trying something, you need some help. But if you need some help, I'm here, so don't forget that. All right, so the other thing I thought was pretty cool was when he talks about how when it came to, when they started house flipping and working together as a couple, that he says that he knew no more about interior design or construction as did Joanna. Okay, so two of them, he did not know more than her when it came to, because I always picture her being like the design component and him being more of the hands-on construction component, but he says he didn't know anything else more than her. He was on the same level as her, and she didn't know construction either. And so he says in the book, I wrote it down here, he says in the book that I didn't know any more about interior design or construction than Joe did. And this is a sentence: I would just get my hands dirty and figure it out. Okay, so that was really cool for somebody who you think that has come so far that they know everything about this niche and construction and home flipping and all that stuff that comes with it. He says he admits that he had to learn it, right? And so I encourage you as well to think that, just don't be down on yourself because you don't know how to do this thing just yet, right? Or to make it happen just yet, but you've got to work at it. And so we were able to see them work at it real time, mainstream media, and yes, the cameras, the highlight reel showed all the highlights and all the good parts, but he admits that he also had to learn. And so as a business person, or if you want anything in life, you know what, take the time to learn, because once again, you know, we're not going to be, there might be things that you want to be good at, but you have to do the things in between now and then to be able to get there. Okay, so get your hands dirty. If you want to figure it out, everything in life can be figured out. Okay, you can figure it out, even Google it, do what you got to do. Okay, and the last thing I'll leave you with is where they talk about, you know, Chip says that he's going to go ahead and he's going to propose to Joanna, and he admits that he doesn't have a lot of money. So it's interesting to see how, when you see how they lived before to where they are now, it took a lot of work to get there, right? It took a lot of sacrifice to get there, and it didn't just happen overnight. So if you think that, you know, fame happens overnight, or you're somehow just going to get right there, you want all the followers right now, you want it all to happen right now, you want to be known for the thing right now, it takes time. And so in the book, you know, he talks about how they didn't have money at the very beginning. Again, you know, talking about that magnolia seed that blossoms over time, right? And that you have that growth. But he talks about how when he proposed to her, you know, he brought her to this restaurant, to a jeweler, and he put out, you know, he jokes in the book about how he put out, you know, all these diamonds with pretty much an $80 budget. And he jokes and he says, no, well, I had a little bit more of a budget than that. But that is what Joanna's parents had for a budget when they went through that process of getting engaged. But he says that his budget was a little bit more than that, but guess where he got the money to actually buy the diamond for her engagement ring that he let her pick from on this jeweler tray? He borrowed the money from his parents. Okay, so at that point, he still had to borrow the money from his parents, okay? So that to me told me that, you know, they were not born into money. You know what I'm saying? That they had to work for everything that they have right now. And I think it's interesting that in this book that came, you know, over 12 years later, he talks about now that 12 years later, he wanted to go ahead and be able to give her an upgrade for her diamond in her ring. And so later off camera, they shoot a scene and they have some sort of an anniversary celebration, and he pulls her aside off screen, same jeweler, and he gives her a tray of diamonds to be able to pick from. And now he says, you know, they were nice because 12 years later, now they've had their rise to fame, and he wanted to be able to do that for her. And she said she looks at that tray and she does not take one of those diamonds because she said that the beginning one that she got, the simple one that she got, was the one that she appreciated, and she appreciated the fact that that's where she came from, and that symbolized so much as they grew together. So I thought that was so cool just to hear that story, and also just to you know, to appreciate where you are. And so sometimes, you know, you want the bigger things in life, but it takes time to be able to get there as well. And sometimes what you think you want, you actually don't even want by the time you're able to even achieve it. Maybe it's not that important to you anymore. So goals can change, dreams can change, we can evolve, you know, and at the end of the day, maybe you decide that what you thought you wanted, you don't want anymore, and just to keep it simple in life. So I thought that was a really cool, just nod back to their simple beginnings, and just hearing that story. All right, guys, so that was my takeaways from the first 3 chapters. There were so many more, but that was just a few, and I hope that's inspiring to you guys that are listening today. Again, since it is the National Book Day, that is a book that I'm reading this month, and so I would love it if you would read it along with me as well. Aloria's in the back. Aloria will be editing this video later, and I thought it was cute that she just said that yesterday was, what, National Cat Day? Is that what you said? Or bring your cat to, maybe it's bring your cat to work day, right? We already held that with Kate. There's a whole other vlog here on Kate's cats coming to work as well. All right, but yeah, well, we missed the cat day, so what else can we vlog about? We'll have to find something fun to do. So thank you guys for hanging out here. I'll put the link to that book below if you want to check it out as well. It is a great read. Like I said, this is the second time that I'm reading it, and I love to read books that inspire, that just, you know, they're so good that you start to read and you just cannot put them down. Do you know what I'm saying? So thank you for joining me here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. We do another vlog of a different type. We have no idea what we're going to vlog about, but it's always good. It's always good. All right, so please give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. Let me know if you read the book or not. I'd love to hear if you have, or if you will read the book. All right, guys, so it's Friday right now when you're watching this, and I will see you again this coming Tuesday for another fun behind the scenes video here at the Junk Monkey. Take care. Bye.